Picture this. It's a sticky July dusk in 1893, and you're a starry-eyed schoolteacher from rural Ohio, your calico dress damp from the Lake Michigan breeze as you alight from the rattling train at Chicago's bustling 12th Street station. The air hums with the clamor of hawkers and the distant rumble of stockyard trains, but as you weave through the throng toward Jackson Park, a spectacle unfolds. A shimmering mirage of alabaster palaces afloat on lagoons, lit by 120,000 electric bulbs that outshine the moon. You've scrimped for months on lesson plans and lemonade stands for this, the world's Columbian Exposition, Chicago's audacious bid to eclipse Europe's grandeur and etch America's name in the stars of progress. Posters trumpeted wonders from afar, Java's gamelan orchestras, the Eiffel Tower's American rival, a Ferris wheel scraping the heavens. But amid the revelry, a prickle at your neck, a dapper gentleman in a bowler hat, his mustache twitching like a predator's whisker, eyes scanning the crowd with unnerving hunger. He tips his hat, murmurs of a most accommodating hotel nearby. Dr. Henry Howard Holmes, he introduces himself. Charming, isn't he? Little do you know, his 3-story palace at 63rd and Wallace is no mere boarding house. It's a trap of secret vaults, gas jets, and a basement kiln where dreams dissolve into ash. This tale of dazzle and dread, of a city reborn in plaster and peril, starts not with a murderer, but with a visionary's frenzy. Daniel Burnham, a lanky 40-something with a mustache as precise as his blueprints, was Chicago's reluctant architect of ambition. Born in 1846 in upstate New York to a clockmaker father, he drifted west at 18, landing in the Windy City just as the Great Fire of 1871 turned it to cinders. From the rubble, Burnham rose, apprenticed to William LeBaron Jenney, the steel frame pioneer. He co-founded Burnham and Root in 1873. Their masterpieces, the Monadnock's unyielding masonry, the Rookery's sunlit atrium, proved Chicago could stack stories skyward, defying gravity and doubters. By 1890, when Congress dangled the Columbian Exposition to mark Columbus's 1492 landfall, Burnham smelled destiny. America, scarred by Civil War ghosts and the 1880s railroad busts, craved a showcase. Chicago, derided as a swamp of hogs and hustlers, hungered for vindication. The contest was brutal. New York's financiers, backed by J.P. Morgan's vaults, lobbied with Manhattan polish. St. Louis flaunted its arching river. But Chicago's titans, railroad mogul John Jacob Glessner, packer Philip Armour, merchant prince Marshall Field, unleashed a blitz. They pledged $10 million, over $350 million today, swayed by banker Lyman Gage's one-day miracle, $5 million raised in a Wall Street whirlwind. On April 24, 1890, after 8 nail-biting congressional votes, Chicago clinched it 157 to 107. The canvas, 690 swampy acres in Jackson Park, tamed by Frederick Law Olmsted, Central Park's green-thumbed poet. Burnham, crowned Director of Works, rallied an all-star cadre. Richard Morris Hunt sculpted the golden-domed Administration Building in Beaux-Arts pomp. George Post's Manufacturers Hall sprawled 31 acres under a glass sky, dwarfing Rome's Pantheon. Henry Ives Cobb's fisheries evoked Viking longships. Louis Sullivan's Transportation Building splashed gilt Moorish curves, a modernist middle finger to the fair's White City Edict of classical purity. Building it was biblical toil. From June 1891, 40,000 laborers, Irish ditch diggers, German masons, black porters, wrestled mud and malice. Structures rose from staff, a flaky brew of plaster and hemp, painted bone white, doomed to dissolve in rain. Canals snaked 12 miles, basins brimmed with imported swans. The Court of Honor's colonnades framed a gilded colossus. Costs soared to $28 million, $1 billion adjusted, bankrolled by bonds and a national lottery. Strikes simmered, carpenters striking for $5 daily, about $150 now. But Burnham, a silver-tongued mediator, quelled them with brandy and blueprints. Olmsted, racked by rheumatism, obsessed, "This must be democracy's poem in stone and sod." Dedication came October 21, 1892, half a year ahead. President Benjamin Harrison, Grover Cleveland's predecessor in a timeline twist, triggered fountains from D.C. via telegraph. Yet the masses waited till May 1, 1893, for Westinghouse's AC triumph, 120,000 bulbs at $394,000, half Edison's DC quote, powered by Tesla's coils, an electric coup that lit the path to our plugged-in age.
While Burnham marshaled marvels, a shadow slithered into Inglewood, Chicago's gritty South Side fringe. Herman Webster Mudgett, christened May 16, 1861, in Gilmanton, New Hampshire, to pious farmers, nurtured nightmares young. Village toughs chained him to a schoolhouse skeleton, sparking a surgeon's chill fascination. He flayed stray cats with a penknife, dissecting their secrets. At Ann Arbor's medical school, class of 1884, he aced anatomy by borrowing graves, fencing skeletons to rivals. Post-grad scams bloomed, faked accidents, torched farms insured with pilfered cadavers. By 1886, warrants nipping his heels, Mudgett shed his skin for Dr. H. Holmes, a glossy pharmacist with a clinic's gleam and a heart of quicksilver. He snagged a Wallace Street drugstore for $4,000 cash, wedding Myrta Belknap in a bigamous Minneapolis rite, his first spouse, Clara Lovering, and son Robert, marooned in New Hampshire. Holmes's potions flew, electric bitters for vigor, strychnine-laced cures for the gullible, but his eyes fixed on the fair's gold rush. In 1887, he devoured the adjacent lot, raising a World's Fair hotel, 3 stories of anomaly, blueprinted solo to dodge prying eyes. Builders vanished mid-job, stiffed on pay. Suits flew from ironmongers and draftsmen. Whispers later etched it as a slaughterhouse maze, blind chutes to vats, soundproof vaults, asphyxiant pipes, a dissecting table amid jars of specimens. Reality, a crooked crash pad for vagrants with cubbies for hot goods and a slab for black market anatomy sales. Holmes's true blade was charm. He ensnared secretaries, shopgirls, wanderers with job lures or vows, erasing them when utility waned. May 1, 1893, apocalypse now, in the best way. A deluge threatened, but 140,000 souls stormed the turnstiles, mud-caked hems flying. Cleveland, Tubby and Tales, invoked unity. Let us rededicate to our nation's ascent. The Manufacturers' Hall thrummed, 80,000 gadgets, Westinghouse's dynamos humming hymns to power. A 1,500-pound cheese Liberty Bell from Wisconsin, Wrigley's spearmint gum wooing wary jaws. Electricity Palace zapped with Tesla's whirling egg of Columbus, a copper ovum pirouetting on magnetic waves, heralding AC's reign. Horticulture's conservatories overflowed, 10,000 orchids from Ceylon, palms from Panama's fevered jungles. Mines flashed De Beers' 45,000-carat hope-like necklace, Klondike nuggets the size of fists. Women seized the Woman's Building, Sophia Hayden's chaste design cradling Bertha Palmer's $50,000 diamond tiara, 7,000 feminist tomes, Candace Wheeler's looms weaving liberty into lace. Black voices pierced the pale. Ida B. Wells and Frederick Douglass barred a hall, smuggled lynching stats, 1,000 plus since '82, via Hades' kiosk, where Douglass hawked unity. Nancy Green's Aunt Jemima flapjack sizzled. Sculptor Edmonia Lewis's neoclassical busts gleamed. Young George Washington Carver previewed Peanuts' promise. The Midway Plaisance, that sinuous mile of global village, pulsed with prurience and pageantry. Otis Mason's ethno-dioramas, Bedouin tents, Javanese shadow puppets, blurred education into spectacle. Sol Bloom's Cairo Street birthed the hula hoop of hips. Little Egypt's undulations to a snappy clarinet riff, sanitized as cooch. 2 million gawked at Dahome's spear-flinging Amazons, dimes tossed for snapshots, empire's gaze devouring dignity. Buffalo Bill's Wild West exiled outside gates lassoed 3 million with Annie Oakley's ricochets and Sitting Bull's spectral Custer rout. June 21 crowned the chaos. George Ferris's Wheel, a 264-foot steel scripture, whirred aloft with 36 gondolas, each cradling 40 for a nickel's vertigo over the basin's ballet. Dignitaries toasted with bubbly as the loop's smokestacks receded, Michigan's waves a cerulean vein. Fair life was sensory overload. Made of mist boats churned lagoon mists, Armour sausages grilled amid Cracker Jack's caramel crunch, concocted when a vendor's bowls ran dry, birthing the cone. Streetcars on 26 lines ferried hordes. The Illinois Central's Electric Express slashed downtown dashes to minutes. Sousa's brass belted Liberty Bell March. Joplin's rags jazzed Algerian cafes. Sissy Aretta Jones, the Black Diva, soared arias to hushed divides. September's Parliament of Religions unified 400,000. Vivekananda's thunder, Sisters, Brothers of America, seeded yoga's bloom. Virchan Gandhi touted Jainism. Helen Keller palpated fountain symphonies. Catherine Lee Bates glimpsed amber waves from the dome, birthing her anthem. Baron de Coubertin, Olympics midwife, gasped, antiquity reborn in steel. Yet fissures cracked the facade. The panic of 1893 starved breadlines, while gates gorged. Laborers slaved 12-hour dawns for scraps, their hovels mocking spires. Wells's pamphlet scorched segregation's hypocrisy. And in Holmes's haunt, fair flotsam washed ashore. Displaced clerks, widowed seamstresses, giddy ingenues. His shelves stocked safe abortives, arsenic drafts. Christmas 1891, Julia Connor, his bleach-blonde paramour, pleaded for relief from her pregnancy. Holmes's ether bungle felled her, then little Pearl, mercy killed in the vat. Their remnants, gnawed by rats, lurked below. Emmeline Sigrand, Dwight's dark-eyed typist, arrived May 12, 92, betrothed by New Year's, till her ring vanished, trunk emptied, chassis pried from a trunk by a wary MD. July swelter steamed the Midway, as Minnie Williams, a flame-haired Texan heiress of 24, ensnared Holmes's orbit. Oil-scented letters lured her north, buggy jaunts to the fair sealed it. Ferris spins under starburst pyrotechnics. She signed over $50,000 in deeds as bond. Then poof. July 5th, her corset crisped in his stove, body dumped in an Indiana bog. Sister Nanny summoned for Eurojaunts with Brother Harry, arrived August, last seen boarding his buggy. A 1919 dredge fished her char or another's from a ditch. Daily influxes hit 100,000. Holmes's rolls swelled with defaults, disposals. Typist Kitty Kelly sketched his smirk, then went missing. Emily Van Tassel, candy counter cutie, headed west. Confessions tallied 27, tall tales 200, each a knot in his noose of deceit. Burnham's baton peaked the crescendo. October 9th, Chicago Day, 751,066 surged in, a fleshy avalanche. Ethnic encores, Irish Days 100,000 pipers, Bohemian Days Dvorak New World Bow, shook the sod. October 12 birthed the pledge, Bellamy's verse chanted by tots before Old Glory. Gadgets gushed, Judson's class blocker, Zipper's kin, elongated love tokens, and auto washer, bug spray atomizer. The moving platform zipped 6,000 pier-bound. Baldwin's loco mimed pony trails. But omens lurked. The wheel groaned overloads. Gales felled a mammoth fossil. Lagoon fever felled picnickers.
October 28th, the Paul. Mayor Carter Harrison, Fair's fairy godfather, slumped from assassin Patrick Prendergast's bullet, a job-snubbed clerk's grudge. He wheezed 2 days, expiring October 30th, closing's dirge. Mourners thronged in twilight hush. Gates shuttered on 27,982,960 souls, $50 million harvested, $1.75 billion now. Gage's $1,500,000 check erased debts. Holmes, untouched, schemed southward. Philly's Benjamin Petezel, a sawdust-souled joiner, partnered his swindle. Staged Petezel's demise with a ringer corpse, reaped $10,000. Greed garroted it. September 1894. Holmes gassed Petezel in a trunk shop, benzene-bathed the husk. To mute echoes, he coaxed the brood. Alice, 15, lace-collared scholar. Nellie, 11, porcelain fragility. Howard, 8, gap-toothed glee, with Papa's windfall. Toronto's rented row house, October 25th, trunk gas for the girls. Lime shrouded in the dirt. Howard's turn in Indy, Prussic kiss, chimney crammed. His gurgles a lullaby Holmes hummed. Pinkerton's Frank Geyer, bloodhound of the Bureau, unraveled it via postcards unsent. Papa ails, Dr. Holmes vows mending.